Hey everyone, Revan here, and welcome back to Feed the Beast University, where today we're going to get into a little bit more automation with our ME system and then possibly start setting up for a few of these magic mods. So sit back, enjoy the video, and let's see what we can't get done. Hey, so just a quick little overview of what I have been doing in between episodes. As you can see, we only have one ore miner over here. We actually transferred this guy over into here, and the reason I'm putting it in here is, one, I don't really know what I'm going to use this space for, but two is I can actually fit two tier 6 panels directly next to each other, so we could have our ore miner here and then eventually like our resource miner over here if we wanted to, or we might just do, you know, 2 ore miners and then, you know, possibly like a level 2 level 3 resource miners. Not 100% sure, but we're gonna kind of leave that as it is. I've been slowly upgrading this guy. We have palladium cells on it and the cryonite cells on the middle, and yeah, we'll get there eventually, but I've just slowly been upgrading as we go along. This guy is also up to tier 3. The solar panel is tier 4. It's gonna take a while longer for us to get up to the tier 4 ore miner, just because, you know, resource collection. But this solar panel, as it stands right now, not even fully upgraded to the palladium cells, we are pumping out 90,000 RF a tick. So yeah, we are good for energy. We have nowhere near that storage capacity, and even if we did, there doesn't really, so far there's nothing in the pack that's really going to require that much draw, and of course that's only working during the day. So we do still have our one gas burning generator over in here kicking off. I may not expand that and put a few more of the gas burning generators in there. But like I said, we don't have Draconic Evolution in this pack. I may not have mentioned that before, but yeah, we don't have Draconic Evolution. So really our only power supply is either going to be Ender IO or the Mechanism Induction Matrix, I believe it's called. And that guy, it can carry a lot, but it'll also fill up really quickly. So it's kind of, you know, with these solar panels, we'd be able to fill up a induction matrix relatively quickly, and then we're kind of back to square one of we're producing more than we need. So I may just kind of keep our power production to a minimum, just ensuring we have what we need, and then everything after that can kind of just be extra. But I did hook up a advanced power cell to that guy, and it's leading into our capacitors downstairs, which once we automate all of our recipes and stuff, I can actually look to start upgrading that as well. And then this guy up here is actually the projector from the mod that, from what I can tell on the internet, nobody is actually able to pronounce. Mahoi Tsukai, sure, Mahoi Tsukai. So this is it's an interesting little magic mod. I'll be completely honest with you, it's more of like one of those mods that seems like it would be in a adventure / RPG pack. So I don't think we're really gonna have any use for it in this pack. It does have some nifty spells, but again, that's, you know, you're really not going to utilize them unless you're, you know, doing PvP or you're playing against, you know, having to fight bosses and stuff like that. So for the most part, we'll just make our way through that mod and then probably never use it again. So but today I actually want to start getting into Lazy AE, primarily because Lazy AE has some pretty cool features. Like, that's a Lazy AE machine over there. This is the Fluix aggregator, so we can make Fluix crystals and stuff like that in here, and it does have speed upgrades. So instead of having to, you know, take the quartz, the charged Ceratus quartz and the redstone and dumping it into a puddle, we can just hook this guy up and put an interface on it and, you know, make a pattern for it and make the crystals as we need them. But there was a mod that I used a very long time ago, pretty much around the point in time that I started playing modded Minecraft, and it was back in the day when refined storage was seem to be used more often than applied energistics, but that mod gave you the ability to have essentially a pattern interface that could hold hundreds and maybe thousands of crafting recipes, and it simplified things extremely. So currently, as it stands now, you need to build up all of these molecular assemblers and interface terminals, and each terminal can only hold X amount of patterns. It's like 5 or 10 or some, I'm not sure what the number is. And so you were kind of limited by space and how big you want to make those, and so you usually had to make a lot of them in order to have a good amount of recipes if you were using AE. But with this lazy AE, they actually have a multi-block machine that acts kind of like that one that does from refined storage. So I definitely want to get into that, and we'll probably put that back behind this guy over here just so that we can do it. But there are a few things that we're going to need to get into first. So one of the first things, let me just clear some of this stuff out. All right, so one of the first things that we're going to need to get into is the circuit etcher, I believe it's called. So this is what we're going to utilize instead of our inscribers over here. As you can see, I somewhat automated these guys, so I can toss 5 stacks of items into each one of these. They'll process, each one of the circuits will process, and then they'll get spit out into this chest, and then this chest is split into 3 different inserts on this last inscriber. And yeah, so it'll kind of I've just slowly but surely, I'll toss a stack of gold and diamonds and pure nether quartz and silicone in there, and then toss a bunch of redstone in this chest, and it'll just kind of slowly pump out our circuits. So we've gotten, actually I think they're called processors. Yeah, so we've gotten a decent amount of processors stockpiled here. So through this next step of getting everything up and good, we should be good. But the first thing we need to make is the circuit etcher. So circuit etcher, we need a Fluix logic unit from lazy AE. This is going to take Fluix steel and carbonic Fluix complex. So the steel is made from, obviously you got to make it in a furnace, but you have to smelt down Fluix plated iron, and in order to get the Fluix plated iron, you need to run that through an inscriber along with some carbonic Fluix complex and skystone dust. So this stuff is made with pulverized coal, silicone, and Fluix dust. We have a little bit of it already, so we should be good to make this logic unit. And then we just need to grab ourselves an inscriber, and we should be able to toss this in, and we now have our lazy AE circuit fabricator or circuit etcher. So we can just toss that in there, and this has different recipes. So in order to make a processor now, what you need is a silicone circuit, a piece of redstone, and whatever the processor is. So whether it's the gold, or I'm sorry, whatever circuit it is. So you need the basic gold circuit. So you need to run a piece of gold with a logic press, and then you get the logic circuit, and then you combine that with redstone and silicone, and you get the logic processor. So this simplifies a little bit and says, hey, you give me some redstone, a piece of raw silicone, and a gold ingot, and I'll give you a circuit. So let's quickly demonstrate that real quick. Yeah. Again, more better English on this channel. Right. So if we just toss in the silicone, the redstone, and the gold, we don't need the pattern or whatever it was called, the things you have to go out to the asteroid to actually find. And we straight up get our logic processor. So we don't need the inscriber presses, and we don't need to process the gold or the silicone first. We just toss it directly into there. So that's going to make the creation of circuits, I don't want to say a lot easier, because obviously we have all this set up, and you can set this up in the same way to fully automate it with an ME system and a pattern. You just, instead of this chest, you just put a interface, and then you just toss in some more conduits over here, and essentially just toss some filters on it. And with this exact same setup and one interface, you could fully automate this stuff. So it's not that it's not that this thing is so much making our life easier. It's just it's less machines that we need to hook up, less connections, less filters, and everything like that. And then this will also take speed upgrades. I'm not sure how many speed upgrades it will take, but we can pull the ones that we have in here. There we go. We have 12. Let's see if it'll take all 12. All right, so it'll only take 8. So we can get 8 of them in there. And I wonder for the actual, which is it? The engineering? Is it the calculation that requires this? All right, so we still need the pure Certus quartz. I wasn't sure if that was going to change anything or not. It would have been kind of cool if we could have just used like charged Certus quartz or something. But yeah, so we have all that. And then if we wanted to start doing things like, we'll grab ourselves an interface. We can take this and we can toss it on and then hook this up to our ME system. And I believe we come up here and hit that with our wrench, it'll face down. So now anything that gets pumped into here will nope, no. Will get pumped into our circuit fabricator here. So we are going to have to do a little bit of getting everything set up. Oh, and then I also made this. So I have a door here. Doesn't look like I have a door here, but I have a door here. So these are sneaky false blocks from Dark Utilities. So you just make them and then you toss them in that Ender IO machine. You can paint them to whatever block that you want. And so we have our little axis back here. But now when I come back here, all I really need to do is run a line from here over to this guy. And I can hook this up to our system itself. And then so what will happen is we'll say, hey, system, we want this to get processed. It'll toss a bunch of items in there based upon whatever recipe we make, which will force them into this guy. So we'll just say input on the top, and then back we can say output, and then we can just hook up an Ender IO port on the back and then just have it repump it into the system itself, and that would take it back up. The only problem is we can't have it pump it into the system itself just because of the fact that, yeah, space and stuff. But I think what I'm going to end up doing for most of our machines for outputs, I'm going to have all of them come out into like a singularized chest over here, and then that one chest will be hooked up to the system. So everything will output to the same thing and then just be input into the system that way. That'll save us as far as getting, you know, import or export buses and number of connections that we're going to be utilizing. But we need to check if we can find it here. Nope. Applied energetics. I'm trying to remember if, yeah, we do have one more machine. We have the pulse centrifuge. So we need to get this guy. We can take you off. Come over here. Pulse centrifuge essentially is going to act pretty similarly to what we've been using with the mechanism enrichment chamber. It's going to take regular nether quartz and it's going to turn it into pure nether quartz. So the only thing is this is saving us the process of actually having to make the seeds. So we can utilize this to get ender dust, skystone dust, and a bunch of other fun stuff. So this guy, we're going to need more of this fluix steel, and we do need to make this in the inscriber. So we're going to need some of this carbonic fluix complex. Let's toss that in there, and some skystone dust. And the only way that we have to make skystone dust right now is with this guy, the quartz grindstone. So that's kind of going to be a plus of the actual inscriber. So we have 4 of our carbonics, and do we have any skystone dust left? We have 20 skystone dust, and I think we needed iron, right? So we can just take this guy over here. And nope, not you, and not you. But yeah, we'll let that guy run. And then what else do we need? So we needed 4 for the outskirts of the machine, and then we needed another 4 for the inside, and we need more of this carbonic dust. So I'm gonna have to make up, yeah, we'll just make sure that we have 16 of it, and that should get us to where we're gonna need. So we need 8 of the ingots in total. All right, we have our 8 ingots all smelted up. So now we should be able to come over here and make ourselves our logic unit, And I think the only thing we're missing is this massively parallel processor. So we need resonating crystal, which is going to be done in the Fluix aggregation chamber. So it's diamond, skystone dust, and ender dust. Ender dust can be made by crafting 9 of these ender pearl powders, which we can just get in a sag mill, and that's how I got those. So I already made a few of the resonating crystals. And what else was it that we needed? Redstone and silicone. And we can just pump that in there. And these guys will stack on themselves. So these guys are done and dusted. We can toss you in there. And we now have our pulse centrifuge. Sweet. Toss you on there. And I think we have... where'd you go? We have 1 acceleration card. So we can toss you in there for now. And these guys we can just take out, and we'll also toss in there. We're going to have to make a bunch more of these acceleration cards as we progress on. But man, the shaders are really, really messing with this block up here. All right. So we have now completed all of our tasks for the lazy AE. However, we need to start working to get our way up to these guys. Now, these are all grayed out, so I'm not sure. I don't know if they're actually going to be blocked or what. So the mass assembler is essentially what we want to look for. This is the device that's going to hold all of our patterns. So it says the mass assembler is a multi-block machine that functions more like a molecular assembler, but is faster and holds more recipes. Every edge has to be made out of a mass assembler frame, which kind of normal for multi-blocks. And the faces have to be made out of mass assembler vents. Inside every block must be either an MA pattern provider or an MA crafting coprocessor. Each pattern provider adds 36 slots for patterns, and each crafting coprocessor makes it faster. So if you don't know what a coprocessor is, so for regular AE, we have these things called crafting CPUs, and that's kind of, and we have coprocessors. So the CPU is like how much memory the unit can store. So depending upon, like, if you ask to have it make 10,000 pistons or something like that, right? That's a lot of data that's got to save and process. So it's going to need more CPU space. And I'm doing air quotes. You can't see me doing air quotes, but I'm doing air quotes. So yeah, in the game, it has so much allocated memory per that block. And if your recipe or your request, your crafting request has more data than the processor could handle, it won't make it done. So also, each processing unit can only process 1 recipe at a time. However, if you start adding in coprocessors, then you can ask the machine to start multitasking and split its resources up amongst multiple recipes. And that's essentially what the coprocessors are going to do for us. So a few things we need to make. We need to make the frames. We need to make the sidewalls, which are going to be these vents, I'm assuming. A controller, which obviously is going to do what it sounds like. Pattern provider. So these are going to be the things that actually hold our pattern, and each block will hold up to 36. So, you know, as you can imagine, you got 10 blocks in there, you can save up to 360 patterns in this one spot. And the last thing is the coprocessor. So if we have 10 slots that, you know, can hold up to 360 patterns, if we toss in another 10 of these crafting processors, that means that we, instead of being able to only craft 1 item at a time, we could now craft, you know, 10, if not more. I'm not sure what the exact split is going to be, but I'm assuming each one of these coprocessors allows us to do 1 additional crafting job per processor. So yeah, we need to make up ourselves a bunch of these, and we are going to need a bunch of these parallel processors. So yeah, this is going to be fun. So what I might actually end up having to do is set up some basic patterns for these 3 machines over here, and grab 2 more interface. There we go. And we're gonna need to make ourselves a pattern terminal. and this will allow us to actually create the patterns themselves. So do we have any of this stuff? There's a crafting terminal, and there is our pattern terminal. Then we'll just grab our other blue cable here. There we go. And we can toss that on there, and then we just need to make ourselves a bunch of patterns so that we can start getting this stuff through here. All right, so these blank patterns are going to require us to make up a bunch of quartz glass. I don't know how much we actually have left. I also don't like the fact that it's using Certus quartz. Actually, it helps if we do it in the correct order here. But yeah, I'm gonna have to make up a bunch of quartz glass here and start getting these guys all set up and run through. So this is gonna take quite a bit of time. So I'm gonna start processing all these. I'll hook these guys up to our machine over here. I'm just gonna do a really basic, I'll just put a cable, a glass cable on the back of them. I'm not gonna worry about channels and anything like that just yet. We'll get to that a little bit later, but I will be right back. All right, so I have been crafting away here, and I have quickly come to realize that we're not really going to be able to jump directly into the mass assembler. We could theoretically do that. However, the amount of resources that we need in order to do this, like, so let's say we wanted to make a 3x3 mass assembler, right? So we're going to need 9 of these vents on each side. So 9 times 6 is 54, I think, something around there. Yeah, so 54 of these guys. Each one of these mass assemblers is going to require, I shouldn't say each one, but the frame each frame is going to require essentially 1 of these steel. So we're going to need pretty much a stack of this steel for just the vents, and then probably half a stack for the frame, and then the processing unit needs more frames. So we're going to need a lot of this fluic steel ingots. And so we could just sit here, and start grinding it away and crafting it up. But it requires me, grabbing a bunch of stuff, sag milling it down, then bringing it over here, then processing everything, and then tossing everything back up. And that would be made a lot easier if we just kind of went along the routes or initially of making some crafting processors for regular applied energistics, because that way, we could get these interfaces up and running. Like right now we have these and we have a couple patterns in them, but we can't use them because we don't actually have any of these guys, which are the crafting CPUs. So it kind of makes sense that it wants us to get up to here first. What do we get here? Ooh, blank patterns. Awesome. Definitely use some of these guys. So yeah, we're gonna have to make ourselves up some of these crafting units, the co-processors, and the crafting storage. I'm not gonna make a lot. I'm not gonna make big, like 3x3 blocks at every which way. What I'll probably do is, dig out these sections right here, just like that, and then theoretically I could make 6 2x3s and just plop them in here. So that's probably what I'm going to do to start us off here. So in order for that, let's see, what are we actually going to need? Let me pull this back up. We're going to need to add in some crafting units, some co-processors, and some storage. We'll probably go for the 4Ks right off the bat. Later on in the pack, if we need more power and stuff like that, we can easily, dig a tunnel underneath here, or just make some massive machines. But it's a lot easier to get into those when you have like a basic unit set up. So how many did I say I wanted? I want 6. So we're gonna need at least 6 of these co-processors and 6 of the crafting units. I'm not sure how many we can get here. We have 6 of these. Can we do co-processing? So we can do 6 of those, and then we'll just have to make another 6 of these guys. And then the crafting storage. We're going to need some 4K drives. I would say we just might as well make as many as we can, but we can make 8. All right. So we have 6 of these. So theoretically, we could make 2 units right off the bat. How do I actually want to do this? I probably want to dig down 1 more, then put glass over it. So we could take these co-processors, right? And we could do, let's just say 1 there and 1 there. And then we could put those 3 like that. And then just to kind of show off, where is this thing? We have these crafting monitors. So we're going to need some more stuff and things. So we can take this on over here and we'll just plop that right there. And so that forms into a multi-block. So essentially what this is a processing unit that can handle 2 patterns at a time, and it can hold up to 12K as far as storage is concerned. And then this guy right here is just going to show us whatever it is it's crafting. So when it's currently crafting something, this will pop up and say, hey, this is being crafted. I'm not sure how that's going to work with having 2 of the the processors on it, but yeah, we'll get there. So I'm just going to set these guys up, and then we're actually going to have to hook them up to our controllers over there to get them up and running. All right, so we got these guys running underneath, and they should theoretically be hooked up. So now let's say what patterns have we got in here? If we wanted to make let's just pick one of these guys, resonating gems here. So if we come over to craftable, we can just switch this to craftable only, and we can say craft 1, next, start. That should start processing everything. And yep, we have our 1 resonating gem in here, so that's cool. And let's try this again just to make sure here. So I guess, yeah, it just happened faster than it could, but yeah. So we have all that. And do we have any more glass left? We do have some thickened glass, so we can just toss this over the top here for now. I really do need to, one of these days, invest in a silk touch pickaxe because that breaks. But now we have 2 crafting processors, and we can set up more in here. These guys might be an issue because we actually have the cable leading to our other facilities underneath here. Let me see if I can't show you. Oh, okay. So was it right here? Yeah. So this is leading over to our drawers and everything, and then down here is leading off to our processing center, and then also to our mob farm to kind of save us a little bit of trouble. Because I'm going to be completely honest, like, I'm not an expert at applied energistics, and I know there's wireless, but I don't know how far that wireless can travel. So I figured the easiest thing for me to do is just dig a tunnel over there and hook it up. But yeah, so we have those guys set up now, so we can start working to automate some of our machines over here, like the sag mill and the alloy smelter. Oh, the other thing I didn't show you, I set these guys up to essentially make us some smooth stone, silicone, flint, gravel, and sand. So I just have a single cobblestone generator, the one that it gives you in the beginning of the pack. It's just running into this sag mill, which is being ground down into gravel. It's spitting that gravel and flint into here, and then this one is intaking gravel and flint to kind of give it this little extra buff there, and it's turning it into sand. The sand is then being run up into here and turning it into silicone. These guys don't have void upgrades on them, so once they fill up, they fill up, but they are like not fully maxed out, but they're I think they're pretty close to being fully maxed out. Let me see. Oh no, I did fully max them out. I didn't max out the silicone, I don't believe. Yeah, so we only have 2,000 silicone because I didn't want it just constantly. I wanted it to have a chance to make some stone and everything else. So these guys are going to continue working just in the background, just to ensure that we have sand and everything else like that. And then really what I could do is I could hook up another alloy smelter here and intake the sand to make glass, which I probably should do just because of the fact that I'm gonna need a lot of glass to make quartz glass. So, But once we get this, you know, automated, you know, we could theoretically make a pattern for that. So I'm going to start automating some of these guys to start processing some things that we're gonna need for our what was I thinking of, man, for this stuff. So like we need this, and for whatever reason it says it needs to go through an inscriber. I actually haven't tried it in the Fluix oh, I can make it in the Fluix aggregation. Oh, so I would only really need to make a pattern for Fluix dust and crushed charcoal, which means I'm also going to need to make a pattern for Fluix. So let me add this on, and let me add on this, because pulverized coal should just be sag mill, right? Yeah, just wanted to make sure that's how it comes out is. So I can just automate the sag mill to give us coal and Fluix. This guy I can set up to, oh right, this guy I can set up to make the Fluix crystals, and I can actually get it set up to make our Fluix steel. So let's start making those patterns here. So we'll just toss in our coal and our Fluix dust right here. And the nice thing about Ender IO is you can have these guys set to push pull, so it will actually ingest the items and then spit them back out into the interface. So the last thing we need to do is just hook the interface up itself. And this is the area that's going to get I gotta go all the way around. This is the area that's going to get a little bit tricky, because we are going to actually have to start getting into, for like this wall in particular, we're going to have to start getting into P2P tunnels. So I'm going to take out our mill here so we have a little bit more room to work with, our water wheel, and then we'll try to tidy this stuff up over here so that we can actually run our cabling over. So give me one sec, guys. So I've got a little bit more cleaning up done, and I did set up 2 more of these processors here, just because of the fact that I want the ability to do more than one thing at once, which, yeah, is the whole point of automating stuff. But we were able to get these guys set up. So I have the pattern for the Fluix steel ingots in here. I also have Fluix crystals in there. I put the processors in here, and then the dust, and then obviously we have our sag mill, which is doing Fluix and crushed coal. I also did set this guy up so it's making glass, and it's just tossing it back over into this storage drawer system over here. So hopefully we won't be running out of glass and having to resmelt stuff every 5 minutes like we were doing before. But now we need to get back into crafting up these guys. So the first thing we need to do is get a bunch of the frames going here. So let's grab we're gonna need a bunch of crafting tables. So let's just grab up 2 stacks of these, and then just make as many of these frames as we can here. Yeah, 2 stacks exactly. That works for me. All right, so this guy, let's try to get an idea of how big we're actually gonna make this. All right, so if we utilize this setup here, right, we'll essentially have 3 interior spots by 4. So each level will have 12 blocks. So I think if we like the if we like the thing that Bob yeah, I can't talk. If we just fill an entire level with the process or the pattern storage, we should be able to get about 420 or something like that. My mouse is I can never tell. I always say it's my mouse, but I don't know if it's actually the mouse or if it's just the way that the computer is interacting with the mouse. It always likes to double click things. But yeah, this should for now at least give us more than enough room for the storage pattern, or the patterns that we're actually going to need to store in here. Man, again, I am doing really good with talking as of lately in videos, so yeah, I appreciate you guys for sticking with me on that. All right, so we have all of these guys done. So now we need to fill up the outsides with these storage vents. So we're gonna need let's just say start with four stacks, because that will give us an entire stack of these guys. And we just need to essentially fill this in. And I think we're going to be a little bit shy because we're going to need 8 and we have 6. Yeah, we're going to be we're going to be 2 blocks shy. All right. Well, actually 1, since I think we need a controller here. So we're going to need an interface. We're going to need, oh, where'd you go? Where'd you go? Controller. We're going to need another one of these doohickeys. And so we're going to need more of the fluic steel. We can work on the molecular assembler. Now, this is normally what Applied Energistics would use for crafting. You'd set these guys up in like a 2x2 or, you know, a 2x2x2 or whatever side you want. You toss in some interface terminals along with these guys. And this is where you would normally store your normal crafting patterns, like for like pistons or normal crafting materials. All right, what else are we missing? We should have enough of our steel, and then we just need to make some more cables. I can't wait till we get this on a pattern, because eventually, pretty soon here, I'm gonna have to switch over to dense cable, and that's a heck of a lot more of a pain to make because there's a lot more steps to it. So having a pattern for that is definitely going to come in handy. All right, and the next thing that we need is patterns, right? And what did we need for the coprocessors? We're gonna need a bunch of these massive parallel processors here. All right, we have our 12 and 12. So we're gonna call that good, because I don't think that this thing needs to be fully filled here. Like, I think you can essentially just put in one crafting coprocessor and one of these pattern terminals and then close it off, and it'll be good. We're gonna find that out the moment we do actually close this off. All right, let's grab you. Like this, and then we'll just throw our controller there. Did that form as a multi-block? It kind of looks like it did. And we need one glass cable. Pop that on there. Yep. So this is now formed as a multi-block. And as you can see, we have 12 pages worth of processors that we can change. Now, in order to access this guy, we are going to need to come over here and actually make another terminal. I believe it's called the interface terminal. Yeah. So what are we missing for this? We're just missing an interface. There we go. And thank you very much. Let's grab our covered cable. There we go. And we can just plop that right there. And so now we can access all of our, So yeah, I'm not sure why this is not joining up. It may just not join up. We may have to just run back here to pop in crafting recipes, but let's put this on the first page to begin with. So let's just see if the system reads the fact that we can make frames. So yeah, we do have the recipe. We just doesn't look like we can actually access it from the crafting terminal, which is kind of a bummer. I thought we would be able to, but it very well could be that I'm doing something wrong. That's not above and beyond my scope of capabilities. So, but yeah, we have that. So we're just going to have to remember that we have to run back in there and access it. But we can access all of our other machines from this terminal here. So like if we made another terminal that we wanted to put into our fluid aggregator or our pulse centrifuge, like, what was it? Pure nether quartz or pure certus quartz is this guy. So if we wanted to make that, we could just toss that pattern in there. Same thing with the fluix and same thing with the pure nether quartz. So instead of running over to that machine over here, we could just come over to our pulse centrifuge and toss those guys in just like that. So that's the nice part of the interface, especially if you start, if you build a world where you're going to have little bits and pieces of your AE system like spread all over the place, then yeah, it's definitely gonna, it definitely comes in handy. So you don't actually have to go outside and see the evil sunlight. Well, let's see what we ended up completing here and see if we actually get anything good. We get 4 molecular assemblers there. We really didn't complete much here. Preemptive assembly units. Preemptive assembly unit works like an ME interface. It can be given 9 recipes, 9 items to keep supplied, and has 9 input slots. However, tries to output the max amount of items it can rather than waiting until the recipe is complete. So this is interesting. I'm not really 100% sure what that means. Level maintainer will automatically create crafting processes when specified items are below a specific threshold. So that's kind of like the same thing we have with the interfaces, right? So if we wanted to keep, let's say 32 or a stack of any of these items in stock at all periods of time, we could just put that up here and then it would constantly craft that anytime the system gets below it. Package auto, learn how to use packaged auto. Let's see here. It's an add-on, allows you to make an auto craft recipe that uses more than 9 items. Oh, so this would be for like extreme crafting and stuff like that. Okay. Yeah, so this is the extreme crafting thing. So these kind of seem like they go hand in hand here. Digital magic, I think this is for magic stuff, or so like Thaumcraft. So yeah, we completed a lot this episode. The unfortunate thing is it didn't really complete anything for us. But in between episodes, I'm going to start doing things like making patterns for all of our cabling, because we are going to need to get into P2P systems, dense cables and stuff like that. We should have all of the materials that we need for it. Our farm over there is getting a decent amount of string. I should probably buffer that with some storage upgrades, because right now I just think I have everything over there set to extract, or to just the minimum and then devoid it. And then one of the other things that I want to work on for quality of life is working on this atomic assembler here. So let's just get this guy. All right, we'll just grab these and just come over here and make this real quick. Come here. There we go. And this guy is super awesome. It does take power, so theoretically it does have like a bit of a durability, but all right, let me see if I can't remember how to actually utilize this, because it has more than one setting. All right, so if I shift right click, I can change the mode. So right now I'm in slow mode, fast mode, vein mine, extended vein mine, and off. So normal, but let me just show you. So I can break glass, or not glass, glass. I can break grass just like I would break a normal block. I can do it in slow mode, so I have a little bit more control, because as you progress in packs and you get stronger and stronger pickaxes, you end up getting this pickaxe that's like so overpowered that like you look at something and like half of your wall breaks. So having it so where it, you know, it's actually going to take a little bit to mine it is very helpful. But like if we go fast mode, I mean, this thing is fast. And I'm doing this on grass blocks, which normally take a little bit longer to dig than like normal dirt blocks do. Off, it's just going to pretend like you're not using anything. So I normally like keeping it in slow when I'm working. If I need to go down and mine something, I'll turn it on fast, and then I can just do like vanilla Minecraft with efficiency 5 and beacons, just destroy everything. So this is definitely a quality of life improvement that has long been overdue. But yeah, I am actually going to call it an episode there, guys. I think we did pretty good today. We did get our mass assembler set up, if that's what's even called. I don't remember. I'm bad with names. So we got that set up. So we do now have the ability to make a lot of patterns and autocraft a lot of things. In between episodes, I'm going to set up a bunch more interfaces on our machines that we have going and start working on getting some of the basics of our P2P system set up. And then when we come back, I can kind of explain how all that works, because it's, you know, it's not that fun to watch. I'm essentially placing cables. The most interesting part is this is a P2P tunnel, and this is what it does, and this is how it does it. So it's easier to explain when it's actually set up. And then hopefully I'm going to work on acquiring more mana so we can get into some of the magic mods. But as always, hey, if you enjoyed the video, please remember to hit that thumbs up button. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do. It helps me out greatly. Until next time, be safe, stay awesome, and we'll see you guys in the next episode.